And now, it's by the numbers. If the Astros batters knew what was coming, did it make them better hitters? As we all know, the Astros, accused by a former teammate of illegally stealing the other team's signs in 2017 with the help of a camera somewhere near the outfield at Minute Maid. Theoretically, then, their batters should have better numbers at home than on the road, right? Well, to get that answer, I looked up the stats of every significant player on that World Championship team. And the ones who performed better during the regular season at home, where the alleged cheating took place, how about these five? We're talking Beltran, Gaddis, Marisnick, Correa, and Reddick. Now, other than Carlos Correa right here, not exactly the team's most important hitters. The majority of stars from that club, Altuve, Springer, Bregman, even Gurriel, Marwin, and McCann, all had better numbers away from Minute Maid. Now, all this doesn't mean the cheating didn't occur, but in most cases, it certainly didn't help.